Wonderful. So good morning. It's a beautiful, beautiful morning. Actually, for those of you who are door knockers, strongly recommend you to go out there. This is a great day to go out door knocking. I know that some of you are already up there in the streets, ready to rock and roll and get some leads and make it to some sales, because there is a lot of business out there waiting for you. So we're gonna talk today about two different type of title policies. Most of you don't even know about the two different things, because when we write our offers, we don't pay attention to that. But sometimes when things come up, we need to have a certain variety of title policies. There are two types in California, as you can see here. One is the CLTA, we call it CLTA, and the other one is ALTA, and we're going to talk about this in a few minutes about both of them. So let's start and say why we need this, okay? So why we need this? So we are writing our California, the RPA, and everybody is familiar with this. Somebody is not familiar with this, please let me know. Anybody? Anybody is not familiar with this? Okay. Wonderful. RPA. You see this RPA? Okay. Jessica. Jessica says she's not familiar. Yes, Jessica. Yes, Jessica. Okay. Joking. Okay. Okay, so we have the RPA, and we all write, the RPA, and hopefully you write it well, as exactly as we told you. There is also, this is the RPA, but also there is residential income property. So who can tell me what is the difference between this one, residential purchase agreement, and residential income property purchase agreement, before we continue? Anybody can write me and enlighten everybody else? Maria, you say 4 units or less for what? Okay, Mark says on the seller lives in, the other one is investment, income property. Okay, 4 units or less. Okay, it's good that I asked this question this morning. 2 or 4 properties. Granada, what does it mean 2 or 4 properties? For which one? Okay, Ariel start writing, Jen is typing. Okay, so I'll wait until Jen finish and Ariel finish, and I'll continue. Non-owner occupied. Ooh, wow. 4 or more. Okay guys, now I see, okay, thank you everybody. Now I see that I definitely have a subject for one of my next sessions. We talk about what type of purchase agreements we have to write for which one. So that's definitely okay, guys. This one, the RPA, that's not the subject of the of today's presentation, but I'll talk to it briefly. The RPA, okay, the RPA you write if you have a single property, which basically 1 unit, 1 condo, and that's it. Okay, you can, however, if you want, to write the RPA up to 4 units, but it's not advisable because there are income properties. So you need to have certain things, which I will address it in that presentation, which I'm going to do. We have to address it in the purchase agreement, which the RPA doesn't address it. So as a rule of thumb, what I want you to do is to, when you write single unit, you see that? Single unit, either 1 SFR or 1 condo. ST, what's SFR? Please answer us. ST, what SFR? Only ST. ST, wake up. Please write, what does mean SFR? What do I mean SFR? Okay. ST, maybe she's not with us anymore. Okay. Doti, single family resident. Very good. Single family resident. It's basically a house. Okay. That's SFR or a condo or a townhouse. That means for the RPA. However, any income property, which basically property that generates income to the owner, it has to be with, the way I want it, it has to be with a residential income property purchase agreement. So, and it doesn't matter if the owner is going to live in one of them, or the owner lives in one of them. It doesn't matter anywhere of it, so non-occupied or non-occupied. You have income generated from the other units. So you need to write residential income property. It can be 2, 3, 4, 15, 45, and whatever, because there are certain stipulations in that contract that needs to be addressed when there is income deriving from those properties. But that's for something else. I will. It's good that I asked that question and I saw the answers. We're going to talk about this, so stay tuned. It's going to be in the next few weeks. Okay, I'm going to put together a presentation on that. So we are writing either one, the residential purchase agreement, and we can do many more. But I'm addressing right now the residentials because I'll explain you later why. Okay, so here we're going through the thing, and we have that page that talks about the cost, and we have escrows and title, right? So I'm not going to address the escrow, it's not important right now, but this is the title. This is the X section of the title. So most of us, what we do, we checked here that the seller will pay, and it's customarily that the seller will pay, because you can see there is an option for the buyer and the seller. The buyer can pay, but it's customarily 99% of the time that the seller will pay for the title insurance. So this is the place where we write. Now, as you can see, most of us are used to put this together. Just write down the name of the title company. Many times when we are the buyers, we write down seller's choice, or we indicate it for the type of the name of the insurance company. Now, anybody know? Now I'm going to touch another subject right now. It's not this one, but as long as we're here, when the buyer is putting the name of the title company, why the buyer? For the buyer, in most cases, it's important to write the name of the title company and insist that that's going to be the name of the title company. Anybody can come up with an idea why it's important for the buyer? Because usually we write seller's choice, we don't care, we get the policy, we don't care. But when the buyer is important for him to write the name of the title company and to make sure that that's going to be the title company. More control. Mark, not really. You want to have, to have control on the transaction, you need to escrow. Jessica says for the loan. Who says binder? Who wrote that in Granada Hills? On the flip, Clyde, very good. Armando, very good. So Armando and Clyde, sorry. Armando and Clyde are correct. When the buyer is an investor and he intends to flip the property within 2 years, he or she wants to have that to have that title insurance because of the binder. And for those, I spoke about binders many times, but for those of you who are not familiar with the binders, I will address it later on. But a binder, it's important for the buyer who intend to flip the property within 2 years to save himself or herself the cost of a new title policy. I'm not going to get into that. I spoke about it a few months ago, but most probably I will address it again throughout this year. But that's the only situation that it's really important for the buyer, because the company who insured this property right now must be the same company who is going to insure the property later on when the buyer intends to sell the property. So this is very important for the buyer. Other than that, it's not important. Now, as you can see over here, there is nothing. And 99% of us live at nothing because we don't care. Why we don't care? We don't care because, let's go back here. You know what? Let's go back here. And it says, seller will pay for owner title policy, specified in paragraph 18, which is later on talks about the type of policies. So that's the purpose of that policy. That's the place we're talking about. Now, if we go take a little bit closer, this is what I'm talking about over here. Okay, this is where it is, and pay attention to this. Okay, pay attention to this. Okay, this is the place that we have to talk about stuff. Okay, so let's talk about this. Okay, now, if we do not write anything as the buyer, we do not write anything, the seller will pay and the property will be insured by a CLTA policy if we don't write anything. However, if we write ALTA policy, the seller will pay for ALTA policy, which we'll talk about it in a minute. The seller will pay for ALTA policy, and the property will be insured with the ALTA policy. Okay, so that's very, very important. So once we decide that this is the place we are addressing this issue in the in the purchase agreement, let's start talking about what's the benefit, what's the advantage, and so on and so on. So let's, first of all, let's talk about what is a title insurance. Let's understand what is a title insurance. So basically, a title insurance is its insurance. I mean, the title company is doing a lot of things, but the major factor for the title insurance is to insure the buyer from any defects or any problems arising later on the title of the property. Which basically what they do, they put a barrier between the seller and the buyer. They put a barrier, a brick wall between the past and the present and the future. So once they do that, the title company, whenever it's going to be a problem, there's going to be an insurance. They basically paying, you pay a premium. I mean, the seller in this case will pay a premium to insure the property basically for eternity. As long as the owner owns the property, as long as the buyers own the property, that title company will insure the title on the property. Now, pay attention. It's insuring the title. It's not insuring the property. For those of you who just joined into this business, we are insuring only the title. So there is nothing tangible that you touch. It's just the artificial title insurance. So let's go for the definition. Title insurance protects the buyer as the new homeowner for any title fraud. Okay, if there's going to be a problem on the title, any fraud or anything like that, they're going to protect it. The title insurance, they're doing a search, and I'll show you later on what do we get from that search. They're doing a search, and hold on for a second. Steph, can you call Talia, tell her I'm in the middle of something? Thank you. Sorry guys. So basically we're doing a search, which I'll show you in a minute, and they will put a barrier and protects the seller, the buyer, I'm sorry, from any claims, anything else, and basically is going to find out all the issues that there is right now on the property, and if there are, we're going to try to clean them before closing. Okay, sometimes for those of you who've been around in the business, you know that we have issues that coming up on property. Sometimes we have clouds, sometimes we have some lien that was not cleaned before. Title company will clean this, and the moment the property is closed, the title will be insured. Now, I want you to understand something. That title insurance is major, okay? And when there is always a problem with the title, there is something I always go back to my title officer and I say, and for me it's major, and this is the way I look at it. Can you insure it? Yes or no? Can you insure it? Because the moment the title officer say to me, I can insure it, I know I can close. And Esperanza, are you here? Esperanza is here. Okay. Esperanza just closed a deal this week, and she made $30,000. Congratulations, Esperanza. You did a remarkable job. And we had to change title company in the middle because one title company were not be willing to insure the property, to insure the title, because there was defects on the transaction, in the changes of ownership and so on, and it was a big mess. So we were with one title company. That title company, it came to a point that they say, we do not want to insure this property, there is a problem, and unless you do A, B, C, D, which were impossible for us to do, we were blocked. So we couldn't take that. So we switched to another title company, to WFG. For those of you who know, it's Yvonne and Nora. And we spoke with them, we convinced them, we showed them, and I asked them at the end, I need you to remove this from title and insure the property. And what they came to us, it says, yes, we will insure this title. And the moment they told us that they can insure that, we knew that we can proceed and finish whatever necessary to finish until the consummation of this transaction. So we closed this thanks to a new title company, and they always have to think about that. Can you insure it? Yes or no? So that's it. Okay. So this is how title insurance looks like. It's basically, what does it mean? We get a preliminary report. This is not the one, the property profile that you put from the, you collect from the internet or from your cell phone, one of the services that our title companies provide us. But this is the prelim. In the prelim that you order, or the escrow order, you see all the issues right now, or maybe no issues, that affecting the title of the property. So you can see this is the prelim, this is the property address, and this is us and our agent, and this is the APN, and so on, and we'll go on and on and on, and this is the details. I already did a presentation, I think, a few months ago about what can be on title report. So this is where the preliminary report, basically, the way we look at the preliminary report is basically it's a title commitment. Write that down, title commitment. So basically the title company is willing to commit to insure this property based on whatever it's on this title report. Okay? Now, let's talk about the essence of what we're talking about today. I mean, wow, I have 10 minutes. So we have two types in California, two types of title insurance. One is, as I mentioned before, is the CLTA. It's called California Land Title Association. We have in California an association that called California Land Title Association, which basically are the one that not underwriting but providing the insurance to the when you buy this type of policy. And there is one, the ALTA policy, which the American Land Title Association, which is more comprehensive and covers more issues, which I'm going to talk about it in a minute. Now, besides that, and I want you to not to be confused, most cases, 99.9%, when as indicated in the contract, and we saw it before, ALTA and CLTA are covering the homeowner, the new buyer, okay, and the seller is paying for it. So remember, ALTA CLTA, as indicated in that placed in the purchase agreement are homeowners insurance, but we have, in many cases, every time we take a loan, there is also the lender title insurance, okay? The lender title insurance as well. So when the buyer is taking a loan, the lender is also insuring the lender. The title is also insuring the lender, which basically covering the lender and against any potential problems, but protects the bank, not the owner, protects the bank. So this is additional policy that the buyer pays part of the initiating the cost, okay? Now, the difference between the lender title insurance, which is ALTA 9, to an homeowner title insurance, the homeowner title insurance is insuring the full amount. So if the full amount of the property, let's say the purchase price was $800,000 and the loan was for $600,000, the CLTA or the ALTA insurance for the homeowner will cover the full $800,000, okay? However, when there is a lender title insurance, which the buyer pays for it, it's always for the full amount of the loan, not the full purchase price, the full amount of the loan. So pay attention to that. And remember, I see a lot of people making mistakes on this. Okay, so let's talk about CLTA. What's CLTA? CLTA, as I mentioned, is the California one. And it's a very standard policy. It's the most basic and least expensive. So what do they call? What do they cover? It's covered that the new owner, first of all, is going to be John Smith. That covers him, okay? Second, it covers any defects, lien, or encumbrances. Encumbrances, for those of you who don't know, it's type of liens or judgments or things like that, that covering for up to this point. So if there's going to be a lien coming on the property after the title was changed hands, that will be covered, okay? Also, if there's going to be a problem accessing to the property, that's going to be covered. And the last one is if there's any forgery or problems on when conveying in the chain of title. I mentioned before about clouds. If there is going to be a problem before John changed hands to Mary, and Mary sold the property. Basically, if the transaction from John to Mary was not properly done, that's going to be covered right now in CLTA. So now, what's the only advantage of CLTA? And I want you to remember that. The only advantage of CLTA, besides the fact it's covering a few things, is that the premium is lower. It's cheaper than the ALTA. So let's talk about the ALTA. ALTA, the American Land Title Association, it's basically covers the same thing as the CLTA, but I mentioned protecting errors or fraud or things like that. But also, and this is very important, okay? Also, it covers other things like, for example, mechanic liens. Who can tell me it is for investor? Leo, what does it mean? ALTA is for investor? Okay, who could tell me what does it mean mechanic lien? Quickly, guys, I have 6 more minutes. Or CLTA? No, CLTA, you know, CLTA is the basic one. Okay, so it doesn't matter, investor or non-investor. But I'll show you later on what I prefer. Okay, when do you owe for work done on the property? Very good. So basically, companies who did work on the property. Very good, guys. So mechanic liens. You did some work on the property, and you didn't pay. You didn't pay the contractor. The contractor can put a mechanic lien on the property. Now, a mechanic lien on the property, it's a lien. But this is the thing about mechanic lien. A mechanic lien, every contractor can put, and it's going to hold for 120 days. After 120 days, it used to be 90, but they extended it to 120 days. If after 120 days, the contractor is not filing a lawsuit against the homeowner, most title companies will remove that mechanic lien from title. Okay, remember that. Also, you see a mechanic lien was a year ago, don't get panic, come to me and we'll take care of it, okay? So mechanic liens, usually 120 days if there is no lawsuit. Any assessments from government agencies that affecting the properties, encumbrances, as I mentioned, any liens from private peoples and so on and so on. Encroachments and easements, very important. Encroachment and easement, anything that got to do with the property line, the ALTA policy will cover. Okay, if it's doesn't show on the title report, if it doesn't show on the prelim, any encumbrances or encroachments will be covered. Something will come later. Water rights, mining rights, naturally, if there is a well and on the property and you are aware that there is a well and somebody comes later and says this is my well, it's covered. Boundaries, line conflicts, boundaries, and they will cover that. And lack of property access, the ingress and egress, for those of you who just passed the test, that will cover. So as you can see, the ALTA policy, very comprehensive. It's not bulletproof, it's not perfect, okay? But it's very comprehensive and it's going to cover a lot of things that are not covered by the CLTA policy. So let's do a little bit of exercise. This is a beautiful farm on a rural area. Who can tell me what is the preferred title policy over here? Or not preferred. What's going to be the title policy? Armando, why is ALTA? Marie, why is ALTA? This is a single family resident, by the way. Over here you see a single family resident, okay? So why we need ALTA? It's a single family resident. Access, very good, Dottie. Very good. What else could be? Okay, guys, those of you who wrote ALTA, you are correct, okay? It has to be ALTA. And Dottie said it right, access could be limited. What else? It's more encompassing. Okay, very good. It is a regular shape lot, could be in easement. Very good, Armando. Okay? And also, remember I mentioned something about the property lines. Could be, because it's a rural area, could be some issues with the property line. So ALTA is the preferred policy over here. Very good, guys. What do you think about that, guys? This is a beautiful old town street, all American town street. Okay, what's usually going to be here? Guys, wake up! I don't have time. I have 2 minutes. CLTA, very good, Dottie. Yeah, CLTA in this situation is going to be very common. You don't have to go to the extent, because as first of all you can see that this house is a small house, it's not that expensive, the property lines are very simple and it shouldn't be any issue. So CLTA is very good, not CLTA, it's CLTA. Okay, Ariel? So that's going to be a CLTA. Now let's view another one. What's that, guys? What do you think? This is a mansion in Beverly Hills. What do you think is the preferred one? ALTA. Mary say ALTA. Dottie. Okay, Marie and Dottie are on fire today. Very good, Jen. ALTA. Why it's ALTA? It's a single family resident. Why we need ALTA? Not why CLTA. Okay, Ariel, very good. Why we need ALTA and not CLTA here? It's a single family resident. Okay, let's assume that it's a very regular shape, okay? Why is that? I say it's a mansion in Beverly Hills. More coverage, very good, Aranda. Okay, guys, it covers more, very good. Could be mechanic liens for work done. Okay. Okay. Expensive property needs more covers. Very good, Jen. Basically, when you're getting to expensive properties, big dollars property, and you know what? Make it as a rule of thumb. Every time that you do $1 million+ property, always ask for ALTA. Make it a rule of thumb. Just register that in your brain. Every time that you do $1 million+ property, put an ALTA. Must be an ALTA. Okay. Let's finish this. What do you think is that? Okay, this is a motorhome. What do you think, guys? ALTA or CLTA? Okay, I got you here, guys. Mobile home doesn't have a title insurance. Okay, I got you. Oh, Esti say none. Very good, Esti. Yeah, motorhome doesn't have a title insurance. Motorhome, there's no title. It belongs to the park. It's just kind of a lease from the park. So I got you here, but Esti got it. Very good. And it's very good for somebody who's just a rookie in this business. So tell me later, how do you know about that, Esti? So yeah, so this is a mobile home. No need for, there is no requirements for title insurance. Okay, unless some motorhome parks, you buy the motorhome and you buy the mobile, you know, the manufacturing home, and you buy also the land. Very few. But most cases, the land doesn't belong to you. Last but not the least, this is a beautiful apartment, commercial office building. ALTA. Okay, ALTA. Very good, guys. Every time it's a commercial, it has to be ALTA, period. No, not even a doubt. It has to be ALTA. Now, by the way, ESCO company will do the job for you. If you're not going to write ALTA on that commercial, the ESCO company will do it for you. So don't worry about this. It's ALTA. Okay? So let's go back, guys. This is the place. This is the place that you put it, and you put ALTA. As a rule of thumb, I mean, you can always ask for ALTA. You can always ask for ALTA. It's preferred as you as the buyer. It could be that some of the listing agents will counter you back that to do a CLTA to save you bucks for the seller. But as a rule of thumb, every time you do $1 million property, ALTA, and don't compromise on this. Okay? Do $1 million, it's going to be an ALTA policy. Okay? So bye-bye. All the best. Take care.